have minds, and they all have habit patterns, and for me, thinking it, these habits of the mind is, when I thought of it as an addiction to patterns of thought, I could understand it and treat it better. For me personally, my mind likes to plan, and I gravitate towards accumulating knowledge and planning these things. And when these things come to fruition, there can be sadness and a seeking of something new, and that's where my mind gravitates. Other people's minds may rehash the past, whether it's distant childhood memories or rehashing conversations they've had throughout the day, thinking about what they should have said instead, or anything. And it's not to say one's better than the other, but we should be endeavouring to find out what ingrained patterns of thought we gravitate to without realising, just so we can understand ourselves and our peculiarities, and just that understanding of ourselves and the nature of our mind and the nature in which we wander can be enough to bring about a subtle cessation of this. And when we talk about the end goals of non-self and freedom from all suffering, or freedom from all vices, or whatever language, whatever religious teacher uses, it's easy to think of it on a theoretical level, but when we think of it as becoming slightly less, so we plan slightly less, we're doing this me story of chasing certain things or rehashing certain things. It's like, oh, they're my, not me, but there my brain goes again with its tendency to this or tendency to that, or my brain's arguing with itself again, or my brain's not satisfied with what I've done today again, and having humour about the funny, irrational way our brain works, and seeing that as humorous and irrational is often just enough, that awareness, just enough for us to be slightly less that way, slightly less self-critical, slightly less self-planning. And that is an easier way of walking the spiritual path, rather than an all or nothing approach. And it's when we find ourselves caught up in these very ingrained, very habitual ways of thinking, we're addicted to being right, or we're addicted to accumulating knowledge to build our sense of ego, or whatever these addictions are. And they can be irrational and unwholesome. I mean, for me, in my early 20s, there was an addiction to anger, because I couldn't see a world without anger, and I was scared of what I'd be if I didn't have that. Would I disappear? And as soon as you investigate it and you realise how ridiculous that sounds, as will I disappear if I stop being angry? Who will I be if I'm not angry? Anger is who I am. Then you realise that you can just not get rid of it, but just be less that way. and in our meditation, we're learning to become less and let go. And at the end of this meditation, we practiced trying to completely let go but maintain awareness, and it's almost impossible. There's always a slight tendency to manipulate the breath, or if the breath stops, there's a thought, why has it stopped? Shall I stop breathing? When's it going to start again? I don't know. Do I need to start it? Oh, I'm not meant to. And then all of a sudden, out of letting go, something has come up, and we bring ourselves back to that present moment awareness of, oh, look at me doing this again. But present moment awareness isn't about solving problems, it's about returning back to the sensation. And in the present moment there isn't thought, because as soon as you can't think of the present, you can think of the past and the future, but you can't create a present in the mind. The present moment is in the realm of sensation and awareness, and as soon as you label, you're moving away from that present moment awareness, and that's what we're practicing in meditation, that coming back to awareness. While we may think that sitting for minutes or hours or extended periods of time without the mind moving at all is the goal and what we should be doing, and that's a good meditator. Really, for me, the benefit comes with the ability to return to the breath, not the ability to hold the breath. And when people say they're not good at meditating, they say, oh, I keep finding myself distracted. Well, that's a sign of a good meditator that finds himself distracted. I remember speaking to someone with very little meditation experience. He said after 3 or 4 weeks he could sit and just enter a realm where he was just one with the breath, and it didn't change, and it was just bliss, unmoving, for the entire duration of every meditation session. And how I would love that to be true. I just, outside of meditation, he wasn't displaying any of those characteristics. He was bound by self-doubt and critical thought and all of this, and worry and all of this. And how can someone that was so full of worry and anxiety be able to just sit in bliss, unwavering bliss, unmoving bliss for an hour 3 times a day? It just didn't make sense. And then I realised if he's constantly in a particular state, that particular state is probably not awareness, but what do? You can't teach that, and you certainly can't tell someone the contents of their mind. But I just encourage people to be aware that it's okay to have a wandering mind. It's okay to not sit in bliss, because that sort of constantly sitting in bliss doesn't exist. It certainly doesn't exist for me. It doesn't exist to any meditator I've personally met. It is the nature of the mind to wander, and it's the job of the meditator to bring it back with kindness and without judgment, and just to chill out and enjoy it, and not turn this into another one of our very many tasks in our busy world. So that's what I wanted to say today. Same as every week, but in a different way, I suppose. Anna Modena Sadhu.